Hey, the king is back, and today I thought I would be giving my expert opinion as an OG, as an original gangster, and I thought I'll give my expert opinion, expertise on where I believe UFC fighters would rank in the mob. Okay, I've played the Mafia games, so I feel like I have a pretty good insight on where people would be. So first, here's the fucking thing, you guys. Listen, this is gonna be a hot take. But this guy's a fucking wannabe, man. Okay. I'm so sick of this guy trying to convince people he's a serial killer. He's a fucking psychopath. He's this and that. No, you ain't. He's a wannabe. He'd wanna be in the mafia and the mob so badly, but he'd get chewed and he'd get spat out, and that's the facts, okay? He'd get used and abused and he wouldn't even realize it. It'd be a one-sided relationship. He'd be like, oh my god, these guys think I'm so cool. These guys think I'm this and that. And really, everyone's just looking down on him. And it'd be fucked up. It'd be a really one-sided toxic relationship. But that's his own fault. Next up, we got Nikita Krylov. So, this guy is a literal trained killer. If you're unaware, he's currently fighting in the Russia and Ukraine. I don't know if I can say it. I don't know if I can say he's currently fighting in the Rasputin and the No Putin war. And even though he's under No Putin, he's born in No Putin, he's fighting for the Rasputin. Okay, which is like some strange shit, but I'm not really educated and all that. But since he's a trained killer, he definitely has his place. And he doesn't speak English, so what's he gonna argue about? He's a cape, he has his place, and there's not much else to say. Trained killer. Now, we got Colby Covington. Now, there's two words where Colby Covington gets involved with the mafia or the mob, okay? The first word, he's a fed. He's snitching on someone. And then in that case, once his uses run out, he wouldn't even be a wannabe because he don't want to be involved in it. He'd be an associate. And then when his uses run out, boom, he's out, he's dead. And then in the other world, he's in the mafia and he ends up snitching or turns into a rat. And he gets took out. Either way, he ends up dead. But I'm going to go with the world where he's in it. And in that world, I think he'd be an associate at most. I don't think he'd be very trusted. I don't think he'd get very high up there. I think people will learn to deal with him until, boom, he disappears. Anyway, next up we got Ian Machado Gary. So this guy wouldn't be a wannabe because he doesn't want to be involved, but he's forced to be involved because his wife gets passed around. And that's fucked up for him. But I just think that's the most possible outcome for him in this situation when he's involved with all this. I think he'd be a side mission, right, in Mafia 1 or Mafia 2, where his wife is getting, toyed around with, and he's crying, he's doing nothing, and then you've got to come in and stop it from happening. I don't think he'd be a man, okay? I think he'd be an associate until his wife gets too old, and then he'd just disappear. I don't think they'd kill him, but he'd just disappear entirely. Now next up we got Manel Cap. This guy would be a cape, but I think he'd be took out pretty quickly. He's a hardhead. He's very small. He's a small man. I can see Manel Cap getting too big for his boots, challenging some 6'11" giant and just getting crushed. Just getting absolutely murked. His head just gets he gets picked up. And his back just gets broken. He just gets ripped in half. I think he'd have his uses because he's down. He's down to fight. He's down to do anything. But he won't last that long. He won't last that long in this life, okay? People forget, man. But anyway, next up we got Marvin Vittori. He's an underboss. And it's not because he's very good at anything. It's because he's Italian. Now Marvin Vittori would get killed pretty quickly. He's literally Sonny from The Godfather. Hothead. He's in his position because of family or whatever the fuck. Because of his roots, because of his blood, because of his heritage. But he shouldn't be there. And he's going to get took out because he's not fit for the job. Next up we got Jamal Hill. So, this guy is a criminal because he beat up his brother. But that tells me something about him. When I was entering my family, right, my mob family, I had to do a pledge like that over my real family, my biological family, right? And Jamal Hill beat the fuck out of his brother. Clearly shows that his real family doesn't mean much to him, right? So he'd be perfect. He's loyal to the bone. He's a ride or die. But he's also very fucking stupid and very fucking salty. You know, he'd be like, yo, fucking Godfather car or whatever the fuck, right? Give me promotion. And then I'd slap him. I'd be like, no. I feel like his tongue could get him into some issues and some problems. But he's down, okay? And that has its uses. Next up, we have Cain Velasquez. He's an associate, right? Because the one crime he committed was justified when he went pew 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 on a guy who did some crazy shit to his daughter or whatever. Completely justified. That's respectable, but he ain't involved in anything. The Mafia fucks with him. He fucks with them. But they don't get involved in nothing. Because he's a family man. And we know he deserves better than that. Okay, and we don't get him involved in shit. But we fuck with him. A favor for a favor every now and again. But anyway, next up we got Jorge Masvidal, Street Jesus, right? This is interesting. I don't know who. I feel like he'd be an underboss. That stayed for a while. You know, he's up there for a while, not a Marvin Vittoria, gets took out quick. But I think eventually, you know, he'd fall off. I think when he gets to the crafty vet stage, the craft would slowly wear down. And he'd just become a bigger and bigger vet. And then he'd be cut down by a younger guy who wants him more. Because he fell off in real life in his fighting career. But he'll be in it from young. He'll be 15, 16, get involved. And he'll be involved until he's like 50 and then boom, he's dead, right? So he makes his mark. He makes his mark as the BMF, right? But that shit doesn't last forever. And neither would he. But he's respectable. Next up we got Izzy Adesanya. This is an interesting one. I think I want to be right. Because Izzy really wants to be cool. Like with all the one-liners, Frozen like Elsa. The Twin Towers one, you know. I'm gonna make him crumble at the Twin Towers. Trust. You know. He really wants to be cool. And he really wants to be liked. And I think that would translate in how he wants people in the mob to feel about him. But I just don't think it'd happen. Now, I don't think he'd be as much of a victim as a Ian Gary or Sean Strickland. Because I don't think he wants people to think he's as cool as Sean Strickland does, as Sean Strickland does. And he's also not as much of a victim as Ian Gary is. But he's a wannabe man. Next up, we got Lee Murray. Or actually, no. You go to Cappy. Because he's been caught. He's been caught and he's in prison. He's been in prison for God knows how long, right? I was going to put Underboss. He has the making of an Underboss, but he got caught, so I can't put him there. Listen, man, the guy's down for anything. That sounds like I'm talking about he's into some kinky shit. I'm not. But he's down for anything. He's ready. He's prepared. I think he would be the most loved Cape by the Godfather you could possibly think of. Next up, we got John Bones Jones, right? So he'd be an associate. He's got that evil side to him. Or whatever the fuck. I mean, evil side, he just beats women. I mean, it's definitely evil, but it's not like he's a monster. It's just cowardice behaviour. But anyway, I think he'd be very easy to take advantage of due to his bad drinking habits and his cocaine use. I think he'd be an associate because I think he'd be buying drugs, right? And I think he'd be, you know, getting onto a few people in explicit ways, right? What that entails, I don't know. But I don't think he'd be a wannabe because he doesn't want to be involved in all that. But he just knows them. And they don't fuck with each other, but they both have their own benefits. John Bones Jones brings in money. John Bones Jones gets cocaine. Next up, we got Conor McGregor. Now, he will be the most loved, privileged underboss of all time, and that will make sense when you see who the Godfather is, right? Conor is down, Conor is young, Conor is hungry, Conor is intelligent, Conor is smart. And by the way, I'm talking about, like, you know, the Conor of old. Prime Conor McGregor, whatever the fuck. Prime Conor, whatever the fuck, right? But we saw it with him. He gets old, he gets sloppy. Now he knows a lot of people, so I think that'd keep him safe for a while. I think he would maybe even live to a very old age. But I think he might get taken out by an eagle waiting to pounce. You know what I mean? But I think he'd be very loved, and I think he'd be very protected. Especially because the Godfather is Dana White. Now, John Jones might move up the cap because he might have some sexual relations with this man, which might move him up a little bit, okay? But Dana's the Godfather, man. There's no one else it could be. Every single person you see in this list is Dana's bitch to a certain extent. Dana does their paycheck. That's the facts, right? He likes some more than others. But he's the Godfather. He's slimy. He's intelligent. He's a bit hot-headed, but he can calm down at times. He's a bit gay. He fucks with men a little bit. But the fact is, Dana's been at the top of the UFC for so long. What's the difference between the UFC and the mob? Someone explain that to me. Pride was fucking taken over by the Yakuza or whatever, right? There's not much of a difference. But anyway, I think this is a perfect tier list. I think this is beautiful. And these are my expert opinions that should be taken as facts. And anyway, I'm out.